Matty Gugas here at State Road 16, and we got high green for the 107. So usually the gates go here before I see the train. I might hear the horns with this north wind before the gates go. Let's see. All right, I can hear train horns up near the county offices. All right, so yeah, I can hear it from county office, so we still got a little bit. He's got to make that turn. He's got 2 crossings. What I was gonna say, the gates are still gonna go before I even see this train, because the wind, the direction of the wind, it's going from the northwest to the southeast, so it's going to my east, to my right. All right, but here comes the train. You can see the tracks lit up. All right, I'm gonna step back just a tad. All right, here we go. Tonight's 107. Does it show up on the camera? Tonight's FC 107. All right, Matty Gugas here with you once again in Palatka. Remember I said I was never gonna get a tripod? Well, never say never. Anyway, I came out here to film the auto train. Like I missed it the other morning, but the northbound auto train is probably the easiest to catch. It leaves Sanford, Florida about 4 p.m. every day, and it's rarely late. Stay tuned. All right, so in keeping with the paper mash theme, the pulp paper industry, that what we're looking at there in the background is the Seminole Electric Power Generating Station. It's a paper mash. It's a pulp paper burning or heat generating to make the turbines go. Anyway, I'm sure that pulp that they use ends up with the Georgia Pacific somehow. The big, giant plant here in Palatka that's always been here and always will. Employs a lot of people is Georgia Pacific. Anyway, I'm gonna have that in the background when for the auto train. Stay tuned. So I'm not gonna move the camera. I'm experimenting or learning how to use this tripod, and it's in the perfect position. Hopefully you can see it. Zoom in. We got red on the signals up there. So that means we have an imminent arrival of the auto train. Yeah, it's fast. So let me expand on that a little bit. It's no coincidence that this is a paper mash pulp, high-tech pulp, heat generating electricity plant, because they no doubt were able to figure out that they could subsidize part of the plant cost by selling the pulp or the finished product. I don't know how far they take it, but anyway, selling the product across town to Georgia Pacific. I mentioned it earlier, but yes, of course, Georgia Pacific has their own plant here, a big facility in Palatka. So anyway, that's why you got a paper using power generation station here. So there's a train that coming out of that siding where the Seminole Electric lead goes, or the lead goes to Seminole Electric. It's a CSX train, bonus. So my picture's a little crooked. Is that gonna matter in the long run? I tried to straighten out the legs. This tripod's on an angle. I mean, equal out the legs. Oh. Alright, so it's 2 light locomotives coming out of that Seminole Electric lead. 3 locomotives. Wait. All right, bonus. If those signals stay on, then the Amtrak's are going to come up on the bottom of this, so those signals are going to drop out. So I thought it was a little early for the auto train, but maybe the passenger train was coming. I knew something was coming because of the lights being on. So they're not going to let the Amtrak run up on the back of these light locomotives. So these lights should drop out. These signals should drop out here. And then come on again when the Amtrak gets closer. I don't know what the time, elapsed time is for the signals to drop out. But all right, so those signals aren't dropping out. So those 3 light locomotives will go into a siding at some point here, easily go into a siding and let that Amtrak go by. In the meantime, I'm so non-observant sometimes. Isn't that a big pile of pulp there next to that power plant? So it is, isn't it? And that's what they're burning or cooking. That's what it looks like, by the way. White. After they cook it. So, or that's the finished product. I wouldn't think the finished product would be out there like that. See the conveyor? So that's the source. Anyway, that explains why there's a rail feed down there and 3 light locomotives came out. They probably just spotted some cars. Yes, it's a lot of material. That's why the railroads are involved. Anyway, stay tuned for the auto train. So that CSX crew waved to me. You saw that on film. Anyway, yeah, CSX is a big time employer here in Jacksonville with the corporate headquarters. You know, they got out of Maryland as quickly as they could, like I got out of Boston as quickly as I could. It's not the place, it's the people. I mean, name me one large corporation that moved into Maryland recently. Oh, wait. Amazon, sure, but they get all kinds of tax breaks. And they don't pay U.S. taxes because it's got that company like based in overseas or in the Cayman Islands or something like that. So, you know, Amazon is a sham. I mean, you get all their products using slave labor in East Asia, in Asia, East Asia, on the cheap and sell them to you fools. Meanwhile, Americans are starving and young Americans can't afford homes. I mean, You know, what's the answer? I mean, stop buying from that Asian crap and start buying locally again. If you can't afford it, then you just maybe stop drinking for a couple months and use that money for your stuff you need. I mean, America's priorities are so messed up. I mean, not all, but anyway. Why am I going to talk about stuff like this? Because it's for real. I mean, you know, let's use real-time experience. So this morning I went out to film the 105, and I went a little early, but I get to the 312 bridge and the train's already coming. So I'm like, okay, well, that's easy. I'll just go out to 95. I'll tail it down to Hastings and film it there. Not so 207 is a parking lot. I'm sitting there trying to get to 95 and I can't get to it. So I wait to see if the traffic starts moving, and no. So then I'll go down to US 1. I might have to go all the way to Ormond Beach or even further now to film that train. And I get down US 1, 5 or 10 miles, and it's a parking lot. So, you know, I mean, say what you want, but we let too many people move here now, so that the quality of life has been negatively affected. Anyway, that's real-time experience. Anyway, so many people have moved here. Other places like Maryland, Virginia, Massachusetts, I mean, Michigan, New York, you know, getting out of those blue hellholes. And I mean, the schools are chock-a-block. By the way, there was a big school up there. A school up there. Before, when I was stuck in traffic, there's a school up there. So possibly so many people going to that school now that it's impossible to go by there when the school's letting its students out. Anyway, yeah, it is Wednesday. Well, wait, it is Wednesday, right? So early release day, so that was it. But here I am, like, trying to get to the the interstate highway so I can make some time, and I can't get there. All right, so I gotta do my homework for you folks. There's one other scenario that I just thought of. That pile of pulp you see is the byproduct left over from Georgia Pacific, railed over here. Yes, Georgia Pacific is rail served, and that's what they're actually burning. They're not making paper, or they're not making pulp over here. That seems a more likely scenario now that I've thought it through. There is all kinds of material resources online about this cooperative plant here. Let's talk about the trucking. So Georgia Pacific is one of the worst places to pick up. It takes forever to load. They don't care. And the loads coming out of Florida, as many truckers know, are so cheap. It's gas money. Look, I don't care. I never drove the truck, so I would have paid the guy to come back empty, and I did so many times in order to keep the truck moving and not have them tied up in Georgia Pacific on a gas money load. Anyway, that's one aspect of the trucking industry that maybe the average person doesn't know. Coming into Florida, high dollar. Going out of Florida, low dollar. Why? Because there's much more loads coming into Florida than there are going out. So the demand for outbound loads is so high that they can pay nothing for them. I mean, I know people that, not even gas money. I know drivers that pull loads out of Florida, but didn't even cover the gas money, but covered part of the gas money. Anyway, if it's convenient and quick, you can get a quick load. Truckers will load it out of Florida. Load in Florida to go out of the state, but to go north. But some truckers just don't waste the time. They get their revenue going in. They unload and they get the heck out of here. Anyway, stay tuned with the auto train. All right, so what's the solution over there at Georgia Pacific? I don't know. Hire a couple more people to get the trucks in and out quicker. I mean, these corporations want us to feel sorry for them, and we don't. Okay, doing necessary evil, we get it, but You know, they're making billions of dollars. They can afford a couple more people over here at the Georgia Pacific plant to get the trucks in and out quicker. You know, we give them tax breaks to move into town, and that's justifiable. You know, a lot of, dare I say, liberals, Democrats don't understand this. Remember when Amazon was going to move into Queens and that Congresswoman didn't want it because they weren't going to pay any taxes? Well, the reason that companies, the reason that states, cities recruit employees, same reason that cities recruit sports teams, because they bring people who are going to buy houses, buy groceries, pay property taxes, pay rent, and pay sales taxes, and all that money that the employees and the people in the surrounding businesses bring to the city is enough so that they can afford this large employer tax. If you don't understand that by now, I'm saying if people don't understand that by now, then they'll never get it. It's just basic, simple economics 101. All right, stay tuned for the auto train. So the sun's going down, as you can see from the skyline. Anyway, I think we'll be all right. That Amtrak should be right along, but wouldn't it stink if I had to pull up here because it got too dark to film? I think I'll be all right. I think that train should be right along. All right, here we go. Here comes the auto train. I thought I heard a train horn and then a prop plane went over. The wind's blowing from the north, meaning coming from behind us, so the train horns would be muffled. Oh yeah, here we go, nice. All right, ready? You ready for this? Are you ready for this? Nice. Nice, and he's slowed. Did he slow down? Doesn't seem like it's moving that fast. Oh my God, we got like track maintenance. Damn. All right, well, you'll get a nice long view of the auto train here. Moving slow. And it'll prolong my misery out here in the cold with the cars driving by, creating a wind chill. Anyway, I'm being a little facetious, but you do get less used to the cold. All right. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, baby. Oh boy, look at the auto train. Nice. All right, so maybe that's not exactly how I would have been holding the camera, but look, the framing is not the. You're looking at the train, right? It doesn't really matter how I'm framing it. Oh well, I'm gonna have to bring my level out here. There should be a leveling device on this camera, on this tripod. Oh wait, there is one. Oh, I figured for $29 it doesn't have that fancy accessories, but yeah, there's a level on the thing, so anyway. Whatever, man, you can see the train, that's what we're here for. Next time I'll level it out. Alright. Well, they say the economy's suffering, but the auto train doesn't look like it's suffering. Nice and slow here for track maintenance, no doubt, and so we can count the cars tonight. Oh, even the Amtrak gets flat spots on the wheels. Heard that? Alright, so I guess I'm going to have to pick up the tripod and get the train pulling away from us like I usually do. And then I get my signature line. Let's try it. Alright. Amtrak Auto Train right here in Palatka. All right, Matty Gugas here with you once again near the county offices in St. Augustine. And we got high green for tonight's FEC 107. Stay tuned. So this is how it should go. I get out there in Palatka, get the auto train, and then get back here, get the 107, and I can maximize my content. I know that's only 2 trains in 3 or 4 hours, but unfortunately that's it. What does Wide World Trains get out? How many trains does Wide World Trains get? 4 hours, like one every 15 minutes. Anyway, stay tuned for the 107. 6:51. As you know, or maybe some of you new people, the 107 has to leave Jacksonville across the line into the automatic train control by 6:30 p.m. or it's considered a late train. So we're approaching time here at the county office in St. Augustine where this signal should come on red, and then we should see the train appear around the corner up there. Stay tuned. And here we go. I was just looking at that feed, and I'm trying to figure it out. All right, there's the gates at 5th Street. I can hear the train. I'm not using the tripod on this one. It's dark. I'm not gonna be prepared to be able to move it. All right, there go the gates at Lewis Speedway, which is the crossing I'm next to. All right, here comes the FEC 107. What day is it? Thursday. If Monday was the 8th, then Thursday the 12th. Oh, we got another Friday the 13th coming up. Am I right on that? 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry, the 11th. Thursday, December 11th. All right, here we go. Coming down into St. Augustine at track speed, and if this train is long enough, you'll see it slow down as he approaches the restricted speed area. We'll see the end of the train. Woo-hoo! Yeah, baby. Thank you. Yes, I recognize it. So the horn, happy horn guy didn't retire yet. Anyway, I think it's great. We're out here promoting the railroad, and that crew right there is just happy to be here. It's a tough job. I've said this before, but it's been a while. So I know train crews and people who are ridden on the trains weren't train crews. They saw either people get hit or dead people. It's not pretty. Okay. I mean, if you follow railroading at all, you know that they can't stop. They can throw the emergency brakes on. This train is going to take miles and a half to stop. It's not long enough. Anyway, there's your lights, by the way. Your red lights came on, of course, after the train went by the thing. I love it, man. I mean, I love it because, he's having a good time while being professional, while being safe, of course. That crew right there is one of the safest, one of the longest standing crews that engineer site. So, he's obviously safe. And he's awake. It's not a joke. There's a major CSX Amtrak accident, which unfortunately the crew fell asleep. I'll let you do the research on that. That's all I'm going to say. All right, there you go. Tonight's 107. Driving south on US 1. I didn't see any signals, but I ran right into this northbound train. So let's see what we got here. All right. Rock train! Alright, the rock train! Oh yeah, the rock train, man! It's only Thursday night. I thought the train ran on Friday night. Happy Seat Rock Train. Matty Gugas with you, by the way, here at Racetrack Road. I ran into this train going south, heading south, and so I had to come back here to Racetrack Road where it's light enough to film.